Okay, so are you able to? अच्छा,
क्या हुआ?
screen. Are you able to see the screen?
हाँ, आई एम एबल टू सी द स्क्रीन.
Okay. Can you see the participants? Number of.
देखें एक बार रुको. नहीं, अभी तो मीटिंग में आप और मैं ही हैं, ठीक है. बाकी कोई दिख नहीं रहा, पटना वाले लोग नहीं दिख रहे अभी. या वो कौन वहां से, कौन भाई था वो वहाँ, एज इन हु वाज द स्पॉक वहां से?
Hmm.
आई फॉरगॉट हिज नेम.
No, I can see 4 attendees. So I'm again asking him to inform the candidates to join.
हाँ, व्हाई डोंट यू डू दैट?
Right now, I can only see few attendees, so I'm just coordinating with the Spock so that he can talk with the candidates and ask them to join. In fact, Aditya Shirish is also on the session now. He's also joined.
हेलो दीपक, कैन यू हियर मी?
I can hear you. Shirish is also he has also joined the session now. I'm just calling the Patna Spock.
ओके.
Okay.
ओके.
Yes. So slowly, I think just call the Spock and he's intimating candidates to join.
हाँ, कोई नहीं. सो गेट्स वेट फॉर देम टू ज्वाइन.
Let's wait for another 5 minutes. Let's wait for another 5 minutes. Then
श्योर.
at 3:10 we can start. Okay.
Right. And the duration which we agreed was 45 minutes to somewhere like 1 hour, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Deepak, shall we start? Hello?
Just couple of minutes.
Okay.
The attendees are increasing now.
So I'll just wait for your signal to start then.
Okay, sure. I think Aditya, let us start. So once again, welcome everyone whosoever has joined us for this important session today. As we are, this is Cyber Shiksha's webinar series where we are rolling out a webinar exclusively for our NILET Patna batch, and I am continuously on in touch with Spock to have people joined in for the session, but maybe they will join because there is some network issue. That's why some of the people are not able to join. But I'm sure we can start the session so people will join. And for the sake of other attendees who have joined the session today, this is the second webinar that we are doing for Cyber Shiksha. First webinar was organized couple of weeks back, that was on risk management. So this is a webinar which we are doing on SOC operations, which is Security Operations Center, and my colleague Aditya from DSCI will be taking this session. He'll be presenting to the candidates about SOC operations, and we'll also try to take questions. Yes, there is some network issue. Even I recently had my screen which got disappeared. So hoping that the network also runs smoothly and all the candidates and everybody is able to listen and hear the session well. So now Aditya, it's about to be 3:15. So I'll just quickly, hand over the panel to you where you can start and start the session. And just before that, give a brief overview about the SOC. And yes, one more thing, like we are testing the Teams platform where we are having a first webinar on Teams platform. So this will also be a sort of test for us to further plan the webinars on Teams. So this would be all from my side. Aditya, handing the session to you now. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Deepak, for setting the context so well. Very good afternoon to all the Cyber Shiksha candidates and my colleagues from DSA and Microsoft, and also from NILET Patna. I've been told that right now we have about 12 participants from the NILET Patna batch, and I was just discussing with Deepak the status of the training which has happened for this batch. I believe this is the third batch which NILET Patna is running under the Microsoft DSA Cyber Shiksha program. And you guys are halfway through your training, so you might have covered some of the modules, but some of the modules are yet to be covered. So before I begin my talk on Security Operations Center, I sincerely hope that each one of you is doing fine and keeping safe and following all the COVID precautions in order to avoid any sort of unpleasant scenario. So once again, welcome to this webinar. As Deepak mentioned, this is the second in the series of webinar which we have been doing as part of this program. The first one was on risk management. That was covered by my colleague Sunil. So the objective of this particular webinar is to tell you guys about a very critical function in cybersecurity or information security ecosystem of an organization, which is a Security Operations Center. Right. So the way I've structured my presentation is I've tried to define for you what a SOC is, what a SOC does, what are the various functionalities of a SOC. Then I've also tried to, via a diagram, try to present what is a typical workflow in a SOC. Although the SOC design has been, encountering rapid evolution, and the way SOCs are getting designed by organizations, so that is changing very rapidly. So we also hear terms like cyber defense centers, cyber fusion centers. So essentially what we are talking about is that, the data, the massive amounts of data that is coming in from various sources. So that gets aggregated, that gets analyzed, and finally, to derive some actionable intelligence so that, that could be used by an analyst to find out if there is a possibility of a cyber attack, or in order to gauge the severity of the cyber attack. Right. So let me get started with the first slide. Deepak, if we can move to the first slide, please. Yeah. So how do we define SOC? So SOC, when it comes to definition of a SOC, so SOC is basically a centralized function, as I mentioned, within an organization. And when you talk about SOC, it has three, at a very broad level, it has three major components of, people, processes, and technology. Along the presentation, I would like to spend some time on each of these components, because each has its own significance, and one is, very tightly integrated with the other. That is very important to remember, right? So the fundamental objective of setting up a SOC is to continuously monitor and, improve an organization's security posture, while we are preventing, detecting, analyzing, and responding to cybersecurity incidents. So think of it as a hub or a central command which takes in data from all across the organization. It could be the networks, it could be the devices, the appliances, the information stores, whatever those infrastructural assets of an organization are. So it collects data from all that and analyzes it. So there are various means and ways of doing that analysis, and with the rapid advancement in the technology, the abilities to analyze, or the tools and the solutions and the technologies available to in order to carry out that analysis have advanced dramatically. So coming back to the slide, so key functions of a SOC, as I mentioned, it entails three components of people, processes, and technologies, which provide situational awareness. So if you look at the slide, I've highlighted the word situational awareness. So understanding situational awareness is very important, because the context in cybersecurity ecosystem or information security ecosystem is very important. So, all through the presentation, you should also pay attention. You should also pay attention to the words which I'm throwing at you. There would be some new terminologies which you will come across during the presentation. You need to probably absorb those technologies, try and understand. And since this is a 1 hour session, there is only limited information that could be covered. After that, you will need to build on it if you were to become a SOC analyst. And we have been running this, Microsoft and DSA have been running this Cyber Shiksha program for almost 2 years now. And some of the past students, from the past training batches have got placed in various security operation centers of different types of organizations, be it large scale organizations, medium scale organizations, or small scale organizations. So a SOC analyst, or what is a typical job description of a SOC analyst, that is also something which I will be talking about. What are the prerequisites and the skills which you need to acquire in order to become the SOC analyst? So SOC manages the incidents for the enterprise, and as I mentioned, a security operation analyst is supposed to work along with various different kind of job roles. These job roles could be, security engineers or SOC managers. I'll also come to the part where the different job roles or the SOC organization is outlined for you. So SOC manages incidents for enterprises in order to ensure that they are properly identified. So identification of the incidents, and of suitable actions could be taken in order to prevent any untoward consequences. SOC also monitors the applications to identify possible cyber attack. And it's very important to understand that the objectives of a security operations center are closely aligned with the business objectives. And whenever a security incident or event is analyzed, from the perspective of the harm it might bring to the organization. So it's very also important to take into consideration the business impact that it might cause. Deepak, can we please move to the second slide? Hello? Yeah.
Yes, I've moved.
Right. So the most fundamental component of a security operations center is its SIEM, which is Security Information and Event Management. So it's basically a software or the most critical piece of software in a security operations center that collects data from various sources. As I mentioned during my first slide, so SOC is nothing but a central command, right, which collects the data from all different kinds of sources. So that's something which you need to keep in mind. So SIEM does the following things. So it collects data from various sources. As I mentioned, insight into all the IT components. It could be the network devices, the servers, the domain controllers, and more. Once the data has been collected, so it is normalized and aggregated. So it's very important that once the data we have collected all this information from all the various possible sources or the different infrastructural elements of an organization's IT ecosystem, we normalize and aggregate that collected data. After having normalized and aggregating the collected data, it's very important to analyze the data to discover and detect the threats. And how do you analyze the data? You apply the advanced analytics techniques, right? I think Deepak already mentioned this in the morning, but if any of you has any question at any point of time, please feel free to post your question in the chat window, which might be appearing, right? And we'll try to answer those questions to the best of our abilities. So SIEM, as I mentioned, is basically a data aggregator, search and reporting system. A data aggregator, I'm just repeating so that these concepts get through to you and you can start building your understanding of SOC. And also, most importantly, if you aspire to work in a security operations center, and if experts are to be believed, if you get an opportunity to work in a security operations center at the beginning of a career, so that will prove to be a very good experience for you guys, given that it gives a very holistic understanding. So when I say that the data is coming in from all different kinds of sources, and you have to apply various techniques, tools and technologies in order to understand and analyze the data. So that will give you a very balanced and holistic perspective of the organization's entire IT ecosystem and the security architecture. So if given an opportunity, I think you guys should definitely try to pursue SOC position in a SOC in order to get familiarized with the whole cybersecurity ecosystem. Right. So can we move on to the next slide, please? Deepak? Yeah. So this diagrammatically I've tried to show what essentially a SOC does. Right. So if I were to talk about the key functions which are performed by the Security Operations Center. So although it does a lot of functions, and by no means these functions which I'm stating are exhaustive list, but I'm just trying to give you a sense of what all a Security Operations Center does. Right. So it does the monitoring and analysis of the IDS, the intrusion detection systems. It also does, which is kind of a very important function of a SOC, the analysis of the log and the log management, and the analysis of the network traffic. Apart from that, it also does the insider threat and APT detection. APT, I'm just explaining it, so advanced persistent threat detection. It also does the malware analysis and forensics. So I'll just try and spend some time on some of these key responsibilities of a security operations center. So say, for example, if I'm talking about log management, so a SOC is essentially responsible for collecting, maintaining, and regularly reviewing the log, of all the network activity and communications for the entire organization, as in the whole infrastructure of the organization. So SOC is responsible for collecting and maintaining and analyzing the logs that are coming out of it. And this data basically helps define a baseline, for normal network activity. As I already mentioned, that SIEM, Security Information and Event Management software, is the most critical piece of software in a SOC. And many SOCs use this SIEM to aggregate and correlate the data feeds, either from applications or firewalls or operating systems or endpoints. And all these, sources produce their own internal logs. So log management is one of the most fundamental, function of a SOC. So this is one function which I wanted to spend some time on. Moving up from log management to another function of SOC, which is root cause investigation. So, when an incident has occurred. So in the aftermath of an incident, the SOC is responsible to figure out, what exactly happened, when, how, and why. So these three questions are essentially answered by a SOC. That, what happened, when we talk about a post-incident response, right? So when, how, and why. And during this investigation, the SOC uses the log data, which I mentioned previously, and other information to trace the problem, to trace the source of the problem, to do the attribution. So log management I talked about the root cause investigation. Another very critical function would be yeah, Deepak, any input from me or any challenge operationally, or can I move on?
Yeah, actually,
please go on.
Yeah, actually, we are just trying to figure out the chat option. So you can continue. I just see my WhatsApp. You can see my WhatsApp. Okay.
Okay, sure. No
issue.
You
can presently continue.
Right. Yeah. So sorry about that, because, as Deepak mentioned, this is the first time that we are hosting this webinar on Microsoft Teams, and we wanted to see how the experience for everybody is, as in the clarity of voice, the clarity of audio, everything, and the clarity of the video, of course. So yeah, coming back to the critical functions of the SOC. So I'm just, I'll just keep on revising so that the terms don't evade you. One, the first important function of SOC, which I mentioned, was log management. The second was the investigation of the root cause, the when, the how, and the why part of it. Right. Another important function which I want to talk about is the compliance management. Right. So the objective of setting up a SOC, when an organization decides that it wants to set up a SOC, there could be various considerations or drivers for setting up a SOC. And some SOC are governed by compliance requirements. So I'm not sure if the governance, risk, and compliance part has already been covered in your training, or that module is yet to be covered. But a SOC is also responsible for regularly auditing their systems, to ensure compliance with the regulations. So I think you might have heard of regulations like GDPR, the PCI DSS, or the HIPAA. So HIPAA is nothing but a health legislation in US. The GDPR is the data protection regulation in European Union, and organizations operating in various domains are required to comply with these, have the obligation to comply with these legislations. So a SOC also ensures that the organization is in compliance with such regulations, right? So in acting in accordance with these regulations not only helps safeguard the sensitive data. So why is that important to comply with the regulations? Is A, that it helps the organizations to safeguard the sensitive data, that the company has been entrusted with. And it also prevents the organizations from the reputational damage that may arise from a breach. If a data breach happens, so the first thing that gets hit is the brand image or the reputation of the organization, and which sometimes can also be an irreparable loss. So that's very important. So a SOC also helps organizations with the compliance management. Right. So I talked about log management. I talked about the root cause investigation. I talked about compliance management. So although so I think one last function which I would like to throw some light on is continuous proactive monitoring. So as I mentioned in the beginning, a SOC is responsible for continuously monitoring it. Right. So the tools which are used by the SOC, so they are supposed to scan the network on a 24/7 basis, 24 hours, 7 days a week, to flag any kind of abnormalities or suspicious activities or anomalous behavior if they detect anything. And as I mentioned in the beginning, the word context or situational awareness is very important when it comes to security. The reason being is, say for example, if an analyst discovers that data is being transferred, let's say bulk of data is getting transferred. So one scenario could be that this transfer is completely benign and we need not worry. But another scenario is that sensitive personal information is being transferred, and this might cause serious damage to the organization and the personal data which it is holding. So it's very important for an analyst to be intelligent enough to fathom the context of the incident or the event that is happening, right? So continuous proactive monitoring is another critical function for a SOC. So Deepak, can we move on to the next slide, please? So as I mentioned, a SOC, is essentially the SIEM, which is a very important component of the SOC, the Security Information and Event Management. So that is collecting data from various sources. So what these sources typically are. So in this slide, I've tried to, divide the data feeds into two broad categories. One is the internal feed, or the internal. So the logs and the records of data that are coming from the internal sources. Say for example, the internal networking elements, the security elements, operating systems, applications, servers, the devices, and the industrial control systems. So this is the data feed that is coming from the internal ecosystem of the organization. That is one kind of data feed. The second category of data feed is the external feed. So the feeds that are coming from other security operations center. So organization has its own security operations center, but it also coordinates and it also works in tandem with the security operations centers of other organizations. So the feeds or the intelligence that comes from other SOCs, say for example, the news articles, the blogs, the public vulnerability disclosure, the vendor advisories, or data coming in, or the threat intel coming from the vendors. So that is the external feeds that are coming into SOC. So if you combine the internal and the external data feeds that are coming to a SOC, so this technically it's called an all source data. All source data. Hello? Hello? Deepak, can you hear me? Hello?
We can hear you. Please go on. Please continue.
Right.
We can hear you. Please continue.
Right. So I talked about the data feeds that are coming, the internal data feeds and the external data feeds, and put together these are called the all source data, right? And it's when I talked about the various terminologies or how security operations centers of the organizations are getting evolved. So one is that the fusion centers is another term, or the cyber defense centers is another term that is coming in a big way now. And organizations are setting up cyber defense centers or cyber fusion centers which have advanced capability to perform all the functions which I just mentioned. And just in order to reiterate, the functions of log management, the compliance management, the investigation part of it, or continuously monitoring the entire environment end to end in a proactive fashion. So that is just an indicative list of functions which a SOC is supposed to perform, right? So it goes way beyond it. So Deepak, can we move on to the next slide, please? Deepak, can we move on to, yeah, thank you so much. So as I mentioned that, the information that is collected from various sources. So the SIEM, after having collected the information and normalizing and aggregating the collected data, it typically analyzes the data to discover and detect the threats. So how exactly the security analyst goes about, analyzing that information and making or getting that actionable intelligence or making meaning out of it. So the threat information analysis just try to put together a map. So in the leftmost quadrant, we talk about the machine learning and the natural language processing. So those of who might have some background of the data sciences or the big data domain, so they must be familiar with the terms of machine language and natural language processing. So how machine learning and natural language processing, we typically talk about artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence entails these components of machine learning and natural language processing. So how exactly are we leveraging algorithms, in order to draw inferences and make predictions based on the data? That becomes very important. So security analytics is a big technology component of a SOC, right? So the biggest disadvantage, which it brings to the table is it decreases the time needed to identify the new threats. Because trust me, the amount of information that is coming and the speed, the velocity at which the velocity and the scale at which the information is coming to you, that is really, mind-boggling. And you need to have advanced tools. And you need to have advanced tools and techniques in order to analyze the information that is coming to you. So I'm just talking about the upper quadrant, the right part of it, the information aggregation and mapping tools. So they help you in automating the process of gathering and presenting information. So when I say the design of a security operations center is evolving rapidly, so the automation in SOC is coming up in a big way. And the tools which help you automate various processes. And when I say process of gathering and presenting the information, right? So if you look at the lower quadrants and the left part of it, so IOC feeds the indicators of the compromise, or, the various capabilities of existing security solutions by feeding, external IOC signatures and feeds into them. So that's the analysis. And finally, the manual analysis by security analysts. So I'll also speak about the skills which are required for a security analyst, or a functions which a security analyst is supposed to perform. I'll also touch upon that. Deepak, can we move on to the next slide? Threat information analysis by machine learning. So, just continuing, my talk on the machine learning and how the algorithms are coming to the rescue of the SOC analysts. So, security analysts have basically two ways of going about analyzing the information that is, the information that is coming out. So machine learning comes up in a big way. And when you take a deep dive into what exactly machine learning entails, so as I mentioned that it can decrease the time which is required to find the new threats and evolve more or less automatically. And machine learning, we have a supervised machine learning and an unsupervised machine learning. So since the intent of this session, the intent of the session is security operations, so I'll refrain from entering into the security analytics part of it. Although I think it's important to reinforce for me that security analytics form a very major part of the overall SOC ecosystem and the SOC architecture, or the SOC technologies and the workflows. So I'll spend less time on this and move on to the next slide. So, this is nothing but I talked about machine learning and natural language processing. So the whole process flow of our NLP, how NLP is being used to leverage the malware operations, various attempts at cyberbullying, etc. So, say for example, consume the feeds from identified sources would be the first step, and second, to process the feeds to conduct, entity extraction. So this whole NLP process flow is yet another technicality of machine learning. So since I mentioned security analytics becoming or forming the core part of the SIM or the SOC ecosystem, so it's also important for a security analyst to have a decent understanding of either the machine learning part of it, which is the supervised and the unsupervised part of it, and also how the whole process flow of natural language processing is. So, say for example, the natural language processing is being explored for filtering and pre-moderation of online chats to prevent cyberbullying. So, NLP, the use cases, or so to speak, the misuse cases of artificial intelligence in cybersecurity are very important for for a SOC analyst to appreciate. AI and ML is being used heavily, to come up with nuanced solutions in cybersecurity. and NLP, the natural language processing, facilitates that part of it. Deepak, I think we can move on to the next slide. So, when I mentioned that the intelligence that is, that the analysts are trying to draw from this whole process. So, what could be the output of these intelligence? So, if you look at a security operations center, so typically it is a physical facility in an organization. Let's say if it is an internal SOC, which an organization has set up internally, and in a SOC. So there's a large room with large screens where the data feeds are coming from all different kinds of sources, and the security, both the internal and the external, and the security analysts are security analysts along with other functions of SOC, of course. They keep on continuously monitoring and tracking and analyzing the information that is coming to them. But once the information has been analyzed, so what exactly is the form of the output? So you see the reports, the trends, the recent malware activity which is happening across the geographies. So that is one of the forms of the analyst intelligence. So they keep on getting the alerts about the potential breaches and malware infections. So one thing which I think I missed talking about is a false positive. As I mentioned, the velocity and the scale of the information that is coming for processing and the amount that is available at the disposal of SOC analysts to analyze that information. So there's a huge gap between it. So it's always important to to be wary of the false positives. That if a false positive occurs in a SOC, that the analyst should be intelligent enough to figure out that these these false positives are to be ignored, and only the incidents or the events which might lead to potential security incidents, those are important. So it's very important for a SOC analyst to avoid the false positives. And trust me, in a SOC is incredibly noisy. When I say noisy, data coming in from all different kinds of sources. So what exactly constitutes a data breach? The call has to be taken very intelligently and bases the context. So the situational awareness part is very important. So actionable intelligence for cognitive security systems and enhanced feeds and signatures for security solutions. Right. So analyst intelligence, they are, once the information has been aggregated and security analytics or advanced security analytics has been applied in order to derive the intelligence out of the data that has been aggregated. That is very important. So this slide essentially talks about the analyst intelligence. Deepak, I think we can move on. So, in this slide, I've just tried to put together what all are the major deliverables of a SOC. So as I mentioned that in the beginning, I talked about the various functions of a SOC. So, a SOC is typically built around a hub and spoke architecture, where a SIEM solution, which is, the security information and event management, aggregates and correlates the data from security feeds. Right, and the spokes of this model can incorporate a variety of systems such as vulnerability assessment solutions, the governance part of it, the GRC systems, which I talked about, the application and the database scanners. I'm just talking about the hub and spoke model, which a typically SOC is built upon. So application and the database scanners, the intrusion prevention systems. Now when I was talking about the use cases of AI, artificial intelligence, and machine learning in cybersecurity. So user and entity behavior analytics is very important solution that is nowadays deployed in SOC in order to analyze the behavior of the users. I'm not sure if you have till now heard about this term called insider threat. So in an ecosystem of an organization or in the security ecosystem of an organization, the threats which arise from within, say for example, an employee with malicious intent could be a potential insider threat. So this UEBA solution, the user entity and behavior analytics solution, that employs advanced security analytics in order to identify any anomalous behavior that might arise from the internal sources. In order to counter the insider threat, this solution is typically deployed. Right. So now coming back to the slide, so incident response and analysis, of course, is one of the critical deliverable for a SOC. And these deliverables are nothing different from the functions of a SOC, which I mentioned. So if you look at the scanning and assessment, so I mentioned that one of the important, responsibilities, or one of the critical responsibilities of a SOC is to analyze the logs and analyze the network traffic on a continuous basis. So if you look at the module of the scanning and assessment, so network scanning is happening on a 24/7 basis. The vulnerability scanning and assessment and penetration testing. So, I'm just trying to relate this to the skills, because at the end of the day, this session also talks about the prerequisites in terms of the skills and the possible career pathways, right? If you decide to take up a job in a SOC as a SOC analyst, so what could be the potential career path for you? That's also important for us to cover. So scanning and assessment is one, cyber intelligence and trends. So, analyzing the information and on a continuous basis, producing those, extracting that intelligence and producing those trends that could be analyzed, right? Further, tool support, artifact analysis, outreach. So as I mentioned that when a SOC is getting the feeds from internal sources as well as external sources, so they have to do a lot of collaboration with the external entities. There could be a head SOC, a country level SOC that might be set up. So, and there could be, SOCs of other enterprises within the same sector. So there's the concept called information sharing and ISAC, information sharing and analysis, consortium. So these external, the SOC of an organization coordinates and collaborates with a lot of external entities. They also talk to the, the media and the various sources from which the information could possibly come. So scanning and assessment, I talked about the outreach, I talked about real-time analysis, real-time monitoring and triage. So triage, I'm just, picking up a term in order to explain the technicalities of the SOC. So triage is yet another important, or the first post-incident or the post-event incident response, which a security analyst is supposed to do. So triaging of the alerts and the triaging of the incidents. So that is something very important from the perspective of a SOC analyst. Right, so Deepak, we can move on to the next slide. So, this slide I've tried to kind of, build a comprehensive picture of what all the technologies and the services which a SOC employs within. Right. So as I mentioned that if you look at the physical facility of a SOC, so the analysts and the other SOC functions are housed in a physical SOC facility wherein there are big screens and different feeds and intelligence is coming from all different kinds of sources, and the analysis of that analysis of those feeds is happening both in a manual fashion and using the advanced analytics part. So security incident, if you look at this grid, so security incident and event management, as I mentioned, the SIM tool is the most important piece of software which a SOC employs. So if you look at the typical SIM tools that are available out there, so IBM's QRadar is a very popular SIM tool that is employed. So a SOC analyst, also has to have an understanding of how to administer a SIM. So security information and event management, incident and event management, tool administration is one of the important functions of a SOC analyst. And then, of course, the data loss prevention or the other various technologies which are housed in a SOC, the vulnerability management part of it, the fraud and the forensics analysis. Because if you remember, one of the important functions of SOC is to do a root cause investigation, as to know how the incident happened, how it happened, why it happened, and what basically or to do the attribution part of an incident. So fraud and forensics analysis component is very important part of overall SOC. And the security metrics dashboard, of course, because a dashboard is a visualization of all the data feeds that are coming in and the analysis which we are able to do on that data and the intelligence which we are able to extract from that data. So security metrics dashboard is very important for us. So this is just like a map to tell you what all technologies and services are deployed in a SOC. Because a SOC architecture, of one organization might be very different from another organization. Because nowadays, conventionally SOCs are physical facilities, but nowadays virtual SOCs are also being set up by the organizations. Because at the end of the day, it comes down to one simple question, what is the, how does it align with the business objectives of an organization? basis that a SOC is established. It could be a physical facility, or it could be an in-house SOC, or it could be an outsourced SOC, or it could be a virtual SOC also. So this will give you an understanding of the tools and the technologies that are deployed. Deepak, I think we can move on to the next slide. Hello. Yeah. So I think for me, out of this session, this should be the most important takeaway for you guys, because in this guide, what I've tried to do is I've tried to build that what is a staffing or a resourcing of a SOC looks like. So as I mentioned that if you start your career in a SOC, so you would be starting your career as a tier 1 analyst, as a SOC analyst. So I will, just talk in brief about, what all a secure SOC analyst is supposed to do. So a SOC analyst, the key purpose or the key, job responsibility of a SOC analyst is to respond to the information security related events and alarms and log calls, right? So if I were to break it down into various sub functions, so meaning that a SOC analyst is supposed to monitor the security devices and solutions, for possible breaches and compromises. And when I say monitor, it means monitor and gather the data to detect the alarms and triggers that suggest IT security incidents. And as I mentioned, a little while ago, that a SOC analyst has to be really cognizant of the false positives and how to avoid those false positives. Because in SOC, a lot of time it happens that a false positive happens and the whole organization is called into action in order to take it, and then it turns out that it wasn't really a worrisome situation. So that happens a lot, and that is something which a SOC analyst, by virtue of his or her skills and intelligence, is able to avoid. So that's very important. A SOC analyst is also, as part of his or her job description, is supposed to analyze the characteristics, the characteristics of the IT systems, the application architecture, the traffic flow, and the data flows. As in, investigate and respond to the incidents and alarms that could be security threats. Another important function of a SOC analyst is to recognize and typify the security incidents. What category of security incident is what, and the severity of the security incidents, and what actions probably need to be conducted. So essentially, you are conducting a basic analysis to identify the type of threat or the risk and what potential impact that threat could happen, that threat could bring. As I mentioned that, a SOC analyst is also supposed to administer the SIM solutions. So whichever SIM solution is being deployed as part of the SOC, a SOC analyst has the responsibility of administering that SIM solution also. So, if I were to extend this definition and make it a little generic as part of the overall job description, as what a SOC analyst is supposed to do. So a SOC analyst is also supposed to deploy the technical products and solution in their environment. If you move back to the previous slide, so the solutions and the various technologies that are deployed in a SOC. So a SOC analyst is supposed to be in charge of all all those functions, all those things which I mentioned. Coming back to this slide, I just briefly talked about, what all a SOC analyst is supposed to do, and that was just a high-level job description part of it. So another thing, if you look at this, if you look at the staffing of a security operations centers, so typically there is a tier 1 analyst, who is supposed to continuously monitor the alert and perform various other functions which are mentioned in the slide. The skills and the training. So what I've done is in the upper row, I've tried to put what is the typical nomenclature for a role in a SOC, and what are the skills and the trainings that particular job role is supposed to undertake or have in order to acquire supposed to acquire those skills. So a tier 1 analyst is, as I mentioned, continuously monitor. So he or she should be able to do, the intrusion detection, the network security information, as in the SIM and other host-based investigative trainings. And there are a host of trainings that are available out there. I can also share some very pertinent courses, online courses that are available, which are around that what all a SOC analyst is supposed to perform, how a SOC is typically designed in an organization, what are the considerations when an organization is hiring, or what are the skills that they're looking for when they're hiring for various positions in a SOC. Right. So I'll just spend a little more time on, the learning objectives for a SOC analyst. So a SOC analyst is supposed to, gain knowledge of the SOC processes, the procedures, the technologies, and the workflows. Right. To gain the SOC analyst should be able to have basic understanding and in-depth knowledge of security threats. The various kinds of threats that are coming up, the various kinds of attack possibilities, the vulnerabilities, how the attackers are going to behave, the modus operandi of the various attackers, and the cyber kill chain, etc., etc. Yeah. So I'll just refer to my which a fact which I mentioned initially, that people, processes, and technology. This is what forms the most important piece of a SOC. So a SOC manager, because we have SOC analysts, we have security engineers, and we have SOC managers. So a SOC manager, as shown in the slide, is supposed to be doing the overall project management. The SOC manager is supposed to do the hiring for the various positions in a SOC, and also it's very important for a SOC manager to identify the key role players and understand what each of them brings to the table. Right. So a SOC manager is entrusted with the basic task of ensuring that his or her team has the right set of people with the right set of skills and the experience and the attitude. Because a SOC is not a conventional, let's say if you decide to take up a job as a SOC analyst, so it's not going to be a 9 to 6 conventional job. It is something which will demand you to be on toes 24/7, because you are a SOC analyst are kind of the foot soldiers for an organization who are doing the firefighting for an organization. So it's almost like a 24/7 job. But as I mentioned, that a position in a SOC or an experience of working in a SOC will give you a holistic understanding of what all are the various considerations of security in the overall ecosystem of an organization. So say for example, if I were to pick up the SOC manager, so in order to become the SOC manager, you will have to have the skills of the project management, the right skills for incident response and management, and most importantly, since a SOC manager is heading the overall SOC, so a SOC manager is also should be having excellent people skills, because the SOC jobs, as I mentioned, can be extremely trying, and they really take a toll on the people. So in order to manage all those aspects, the SOC managers have to have those excellent people management skills. So I have also, although I would not exactly prescribe or propound any kind of certification, but if you do some basic research online, we as DSA and Microsoft, we can also share some good resources with you, the online virtual trainings or the sessions, or the various self-learning modules that are out there. So Coursera is there, Unacademy is there. So all these, offer very rich sources of what all skills a SOC analyst is supposed to acquire and how exactly he or she can go about acquiring those skills. Right. So I think in this last 45 minutes, I've tried to touch upon the various key aspects of what all a security operations center is, what all important functions it is supposed to perform. When I say important functions, so just in the interest of revising them, the log management part of it, SOCs doing the compliance management for organizations, and most importantly, the fundamental function is to proactively and continuously monitor and track the IT environment of an organization, in order to detect any possible incident which could have, damaging repercussions for the organization. I've also tried to cover SIEM, because SIEM, as I mentioned, is the most fundamental part of a SOC. So what an SIEM is supposed to be doing, I tried to cover that. I also try to cover the data feeds, because as an analyst or as a SOC person, you need to be appreciative of the various sources from which the data is coming to you, whether it's internal or the external, and then you should have that intelligence and the wisdom to analyze the data and derive some meaningful insights from it. So I try to cover that. Also, I've also tried to cover, the real-time understanding. Real-time understanding, when I say how a SOC staffing or resourcing is done, I try to cover, what a SOC analyst is supposed to be doing, because we at DSA had also developed a detailed job description of say, a SOC analyst. So we reached out to various organizations and various SOC managers, because SOC managers are in charge of handling their SOCs. So we reached out to various SOC managers in order to understand what exactly are they looking for when they are hiring people for their various SOC positions. So we've also tried to put together a standardized job description for SOC analyst. I can share that, or Deepak could share that offline with you. Apart from the various sources, these sources will at least, guide you in the right direction as to, what sort of skills you can acquire and how you can go about acquiring them. When I say a SOC analyst should be able to perform the vulnerability analysis and penetration testing, and another term which you might be hearing nowadays is threat hunting. So threat hunting, because rather than just waiting for the incidents or the analysis to come to you, threat hunting is also a very important function of a SOC. So threat hunters also work within a SOC. They proactively look out for the various possible threats that are emerging, and then they try to make a meaningful decision based on those threats. And threat hunting is also emerging as a very lucrative career option nowadays. So because so there are two things. There is a trade-off here, I think. If you choose to work as a SOC analyst, the timings of course would be very erratic. It would be a challenging job, but at the same time, the amount of experience and the amount of comprehensiveness that will come into your understanding from a security architecture standpoint, that would be completely uncomparable. And of course, if you look at the pay packages of SOC analysts, or the various senior positions at SOC, so those are also pretty handsome pay packages they get. So I think although the job is really challenging and it demands a lot of a lot of skills, not just the technical skills, but also your mettle. It basically tests your mettle and the tenacity. So I think it's also important to understand that when you venture into, or when you take up a role as a SOC analyst, you need to have those requisite technical skills. But apart from the technical skills, you will also have to consciously work towards sharpening your the non-tech skills or the soft skills part of it. Because I was just talking to some days back, I was talking to a SOC manager. He said that one of the SOC analysts who had joined recently wasn't able to properly send an email communication to one of the customers. So I think apart from the technical understanding, because technical understanding, I'm not saying that it's complete. It would be simplified to say that it's very easy to build. It's very important to acquire, because without the technical understanding, you won't be able to appreciate the various incidents and the events that are happening, or the data feeds that are coming to you. You need to have that required technical intelligence. But apart from that, the soft skills part of it become very critical, and especially for a SOC analyst, because the SOC analyst would be required to perform all those functions of either communicating with the clients or writing those emails, etc., etc. So I think that would be my parting thought. So Deepak, over to you. If any of the candidates or anybody of you have any question, so please feel free to fill that question in the chat window. Otherwise, in case you find any technical challenge in fielding your question, we can always take your questions offline, and we can always plan for a follow-up session.
Yeah, thank you so much, Aditya. This was, it was a very well crafted presentation from your side on SOC operations. So basically, I'm just trying to see if we can actually have the chat window facility available to our attendees. But I think as now there is some issue. The attendees are not able to see the chat windows. So anyways, I have requested Saket, the Nilet Patna SPOC, that for any questions that are available with candidates, they can write back to us for this presentation. We will also share this presentation with the candidates.
Right.
And as I earlier mentioned that this was more of a session, yes, no doubt knowledgeable session, but a testing session with our candidates and participants to see if we can float out to larger audience the session on Teams. But I have requested my technical manager Satyapalji to just check what's the issue if we can get a chat window, or maybe it could be some other issue. But overall, having said that, the session was very well conducted. It gave us a good insight about SOC operation, and I'm sure the NIRET faculty as well must have got good hands-on. I'm not saying in-depth, deep dive knowledge, but yes, the basic information about SOC operations and other ideas around the same would have been flowed out in obviously in this very short period of time. But it's okay. We will figure out how to get the queries next time. But as of now, I'm requesting Saket and other attendees who are hearing us that they can write down their questions and they can send to me on email. I'll also share this presentation with Saket, which he can float it out to candidates. So once again, thank you so much, Aditya, Sunil, and Satyapal ji for flagging this out, and we will work out internally to see if whether is there issue with version or we need to do something else as far as the chat window is concerned. I'm ending the session as of now. Thank you so much for your time and your deep inputs on this SOC operation session.
Thank you so much.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, bye.